Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? Today I want to talk about a show that I saw off West End. It was a fringe show and I saw it about 2 weeks ago. It's called Oil and it's currently at the Almeida Theatre. Now I've never been to this theatre before. It's one of the kind of more popular off West End fringe theatres, but I've never been to it, so I was very excited just to go and see the venue itself, which, I mean, it was a beautiful place. It was a beautiful space and I would definitely go back to that theatre to see more fringe shows. In any case, the show that I saw, as I said before, was called Oil, and this is my programme for it. And as you can see, it stars Anne-Marie Duff, who's actually on this programme, and she was the main reason my friend really wanted to go. Like, she was the one who found out about the play and she asked me if I wanted to go with her, and I was like, yeah, of course, because it looks good. But I'd never seen Anne-Marie Duff in anything before. Like, I know she's been in Shameless, but I didn't used to watch the show, so I didn't know what her performances were like, I guess. But my friend loved her, so I knew that she would probably be good. And wow, she was phenomenal. Like, she was fantastic in the show. So before I even talk more about the show, I want to say that if you're a fan of Anne-Marie Duff, definitely go and try and see her in the show because she is excellent. But even if you don't know who Anne-Marie Duff is, or if you just don't care about her, you should still go and see the show because the show itself, I mean, it's called Oil, which is a very interesting name for a show, and I honestly had no clue what the show was about. I didn't read up about it too much before I went because I wanted it to be like a surprise. I wanted to find out about it when I go and see the show. That's what I normally do when I go see shows. But it is pretty much about oil, and the interesting thing about the show, the story, is that it takes place throughout like 2 decades, and you go from one era to another era to another era, and yet the characters are the same. And so without even realizing it whilst you're watching the show, you just somehow believe that the characters can do that the characters can still be alive throughout all these eras. Whereas when you think about it realistically, obviously it's not something that can actually happen because people normally don't tend to live more than like 100 years old, and that's probably pushing it. So that was pretty cool. I thought the story was just very fascinating and very brave of the writer. In fact, there was a Q&A when we watched the show, and at the end of the show we got to kind of get to know more about the writer of the show, Ella Hickson, who was an incredible woman. Like, I found her so fascinating, and it was so interesting to hear her talk about why she wrote the story and how she tried to make it work and stuff. But yeah, even though it's about oil in a way, like actual oil, and how hard it is to get it and stuff, it kind of starts from the late 1800s. So it's like, I think the first scene that we see the characters in is like set in 1889 or something, a long time ago, and they're in this kind of small Cornish town, and they see this new invention there. It's a lamp, and the main character, played by Anne-Marie Duff, who is actually called May in the show, she's very intrigued by it. And then, you know, that scene goes on, and then we move forward to like, I think early 1900s or something like that, and that's when May, the character of May, actually has a daughter by that point, and the daughter is called Amy, which I think is very interesting because it's actually an anagram of May. So that was something that I didn't actually realise at the time, but when I thought about it later, I was like, that's really, really cool. And then later on, especially in Act 2, Act 2 was very different to Act 1, and in Act 2, we actually transport to the future, so it's like 2050 or something, where newer inventions are possible, and you know, everything is different, technology is advanced. And I found that when I was watching the show, I found it a bit bizarre at first because I was just like, it's a big change from what we'd seen in Act 1, but it actually worked. And this is what I'm saying about the fact that it's so weird that obviously there are all these different eras that we go to and learn about in the show, and yet we don't question it. We don't question the fact that it can't be real, you know, a person, a woman can't have lived through all these eras. Anyway, the show is a bit, I don't want to say political, but obviously it is a bit serious. It has to do with the issues of oil and how that's important and how hard it is to get it and stuff like that. But it's also about the relationship between a mother and a daughter. And the mother is played by Anne-Marie Duff, May, and her daughter is played by Yolanda Kettle. Yolanda Kettle is the girl that plays the daughter, called Amy in the show, and she was actually really, really good. It took a while for me to warm to her character because in the first scene where we see her, she plays like a 5-year-old, and it's hard for like a full-on grown-up, an adult, to play a 5-year-old. So I wasn't too convinced by her performance in the beginning, but as the play went on and in the later scenes, I thought she did a better job, and I was very, very convinced by her. And I thought her and Anne-Marie Duff had a really, really great chemistry, so that was great. The whole cast, in fact, I thought was pretty good. Some performances, of course, were better than others, some felt a bit more weak, but overall it was great. And it was very creative as well because me and my friend Lisa, we were sat on the front row, but because it was a sold out performance, we were sat on different sides, like opposite sides of the front row, because they were literally the only 2 seats left. The view was great, but also because we were at the sides, there were loads of things happening on the sides of the stage. So like sometimes when characters were off stage, they would still do things like you could hear their voices, and they'd do it through a microphone or something that was right next to me or something, which was really cool. Very, very cool, very cleverly designed. I just thought it was amazing. The sets were great, the direction was great, the movement was great. It was just a stunning show. It made me think, it made me cry. I cried a few times watching the show and I did not expect it. It was an excellent show. Also, it's funny because at one point, I think during the second era in the early 1900s, they're actually in Tehran, in Iran, which is a city that I'm kind of from in a way. I used to live in Tehran for a few years and I'm partly Iranian, so it was really weird to kind of see that time and that place through the perspective of the writer Ella, who's written this play. And one of the actors in the show actually spoke Persian, Iranian at one point, which I thought was amazing. Suddenly I was like, what? I understand this language. It was really, really cool. I just think it's a very, very good and thought-provoking show, and I want to recommend it. I really want you to go and see this. This is on, I think, until about the 26th or 27th of November, so only about a couple of weeks left, but you can get pretty cheap tickets for it. Some performances might be sold out because it is doing very, very well, but if you can and get a chance, please go and see it. It's such a good play. It's one of the best plays I've seen this year. I've seen quite a lot of plays this year, but this is you know, right towards the top. And Anne-Marie's performance honestly is incredible. It's funny because she manages to kind of be very strict and sometimes even come across a bit heartless in some of the scenes, but in other scenes you can see her vulnerable kind of emotional side, and it's just, she does it so well. She's such a natural actress, and I thought she was amazing. Before I end this video, I want to show some clips because I wasn't planning on doing a vlog or a review when I went to see the show because I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I just thought it might just be like a random, you know, show that I might like a bit, but I loved it so much that whilst I was in the show in the interval, I was like, I'm going to get my phone out. I didn't have my camera on me, so I was like, I'm going to just record some clips on my phone just so I can remember it. So yeah, here are those. We just come from the interval. Hello. It's just the interval, and we're at the, what's the show? Oil.
It's Oil at the Almeida Theatre.
Yeah.
Starring Anne-Marie Duff.
Who is?
She was Fiona in Shameless. I absolutely love her. I think she's brilliant. She was also in Suffragettes film just recently as well.
And we saw that last year because I kept thinking I do recognise her, but I never really watched Shameless. I wasn't from that, and she is phenomenal. The play is incredible. It's only the interval, but my heart has gone everywhere. Oh my god, what do you think, Lisa?
I've cried so much.
Same.
I've really felt a lot of everything what has happened. And yeah, I've loved it. I love it. I love her.
She's a phenomenal actress. The whole cast is great. The sets are great.
They've done well in the space that they've got. I love how it's all lit by candles as well. It's all candlelight to begin with.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's really interesting, and there's one bit where you're just completely in the dark. That was cool.
Yeah, and there's mics on either side of the stage as well, which I'll show you later on if I can.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes like you can, me and Lisa are sat on the opposite ends. It's quite funny, but we're quite close to the mic.
To get good seats.
Yeah, literally though. There was I think we've got the last two tickets available for this performance, and there were just single seats on the other side.
We wanted to do this one because they've got a
something
talk
afterwards. Yeah, which I'll try and see if I can film anything. I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad we did because I'm looking forward to that now a lot. See what it's about, but yeah, it's incredible, and I literally started vlogging on my phone right now because I had to vlog it. It's that good. I told Lisa in the intro, I was like, I wish I'd vlogged it because you guys need to see it and I want to remember this. So, yeah. This is the stage where I'm in the front row, and so is Lisa. She's just on the other side. It's very dark because I'm filming on my phone, but you can kind of see it. There you go. She's over there. Yeah, it's a really good view, and this is the mic I was talking about. Like they do some scenes here with the mic. It's really, really cool. And all the actors, when they're not on stage, they're kind of off stage here on the other side, on each side. It's so cool, guys. It's such a good play. I can't wait for Act 2. The show is finished. We are currently waiting for the post-show chat. What did you think, Lisa, about the second half? It had a very different vibe to it, but still incredible. It was almost like it was one long scene, the whole second act, pretty much. There were a couple of things before that, but then the rest kind of was very... In fact, the whole mother and daughter relationship in the whole show was very well written and very well done by the two actors. So yeah, we're just waiting for the post-show talk now. So see ya after. And yeah, that is it for today. It's been a while since I've done a theatre review like this, like a sit-down theatre review, so I hope you enjoyed it. And leave comments down below if you're interested to go and see the show, or if you have already seen the show, because I'd love to talk about the play more. And thank you so much for watching, and look out for more vlogs and videos and stuff very, very soon. Bye guys!